Hi there, this is Adrian, your Puckhogs Local 242 commish, and today I'm going to give you a short class on how to do IR cycling, injured reserve cycling. We have some more colorful names for it, but we're going to call it IR cycling for now on. When I do this, I'm actually not going to uh, give you an opinion on whether this is a good thing or bad thing. We'll discuss that a little bit later in a video for how we are handling it for this year, 2021. Spoiler alert, I don't like it, but yeah, we'll save that for a different video. I'm just going to show you how to do it so we're all on the same sheet of music. So actually, before I get into IR cycling, I'm going to show you something that we've allowed, and I think all fantasy hockey leagues allow, and it's called, I don't really have a name for it, but it's a little bit of a manipulation when a player releases from IR, when he loses his IR flag. And this is what that is. So we kind of call it light IR manipulation, fully legal, been around forever. So in this example, so right now I'm actually in the Brophy sandbox, we call it. This is the draft division for Brophy this year that we are using for testing purposes for all sorts of fun stuff. Just one of the many things we do behind the scenes for you. Ignore this big yellow thing here for now. That'll be part of a separate video. But in our example here, and also ignore the fact that I've got so many guys on IR, this is just a test environment setting. So imagine Mitch Marner. He was IR a couple days ago. He's now cleared for IR. So normally you would think, okay, a guy clears, I've got to activate him. But what I want to do in this example is I'd like to get rid of Ricard Raquel from my team. And I want to activate Mitch Marner. So you would say, okay, well, let's go ahead and do that. But what all of us do, or hopefully all of us do, is you would say, Raquel is playing today on Friday. Marner's not, so let's keep Marner on IR even though he's not flagged, and let's wait until tomorrow to activate Marner. So on Saturday, October 16th, Marner is playing and Raquel is not. So you know what? I'm going to get a free game out of Raquel today. I don't want him. I'm going to bail on him. So what you would do is you would not activate Marner today. You would make the transaction tomorrow, drop Raquel, activate Marner, and then life goes on. Marner's on your team, Raquel's not, and you got that extra free game out of Raquel. All right, simple stuff, totally legal. We've all been doing it for the longest time. Okay, so that's light IR manipulation. So what full IR cycling is like that escalated to the nth degree. So for IR cycling, you need several conditions to exist to make it possible to benefit from it. First is you need more than one IR player, at least two. Second of all, they can't be on the same team because you'll see why in a little bit. That's not going to help you. And the third condition is one of them has to eventually clear IR, hopefully both of them, if you're going to really take advantage of this. But if you've got two guys with broken legs that are done for the rest of the season, you're never going to benefit from IR cycling if they don't eventually come off of IR. All right, so setting the table there, let's jump into our scenario here and show you how to do IR cycling. So let's go back to today, which is Friday, October 15th. You can see the roster that I have set, and you can see the example I'm going to use. I think it's Brock Besser. So he's on my team here, and he has a flag, and he's in IR status. And then I've got Marcus Johansson is my other example. So both of these guys are flagged. They're both IR eligible. One is on my non-IR roster, I guess active or bench. And then Brock Besser is on my IR. So obviously, one of them in the example, or I guess in the conditions, one of them will eventually have to clear IR to make this valuable. But the way IR cycling works is you are setting the table for when that flag clear eventually happens. So both of them are injured. I'm sorry, no, they both have flags. Marcus Johansson is not playing today. Brock Besser is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Brock Besser First, I move him into reserve spot and ignore that warning. Then I'm going to take Marcus Johansson and put him into IR. If I can, come on. Somehow it's not working. I think I might have to, there we go. I've got the one click set up, boom. And just finalize changes. Don't worry about those errors. So now I've got Johansson on my IR slot, and guess what? He's not playing today. And I've got Besser. Well, I don't have him yet. Let's go put him in an active slot. I've got Besser skating today in my skater position. So I'm going to get points out of Besser if he clears his flag today. And who cares about Johansson because he's not playing. So let's jump to tomorrow. And I've got Besser where's Besser? He is playing today, and so is Johansson. So here's an example of it doesn't matter who, since they're both flagged and they're both playing, you can't benefit from an IR cycle today. And so nothing good for Saturday. I'm not going to do anything. I've got Besser playing. So let me jump to Sunday. And as I go through this, you'll see that IR cycling is hard to benefit from because, again, the conditions have to be right. And I forgot to mention in my setup is that you need a complementary schedule. What that means is you need players that are playing on opposite days. Now, no two players have a perfectly complementary schedule, as we know, but the only way to benefit from IR cycling is to have a complementary schedule. So nothing's going on Sunday. Everybody's watching the NFL. So let's move on to Monday. And I think Monday is a similar situation. And it's actually good that we're going through this because you see that the opportunities don't always present themselves. So Marcus Johansson is playing on Monday. And how about Besser? He's not. All right, time to cycle. Let's go put Besser into IR. And again, ignore the warning. So now Besser, who's not playing, is on IR. And Marcus Johansson has risen like the Phoenix back to being able to play. So now he's in a schedule. All right, so probably you're picking it up by now. This is just what you do. You just go out as far as you want to go out through the end of the season if you want to take the time. And again, we'll talk about that on the next video because I don't want to take the time and I don't want to have a league that values people taking that time because I'd rather spend that time doing other things. But again, no commentary on if it's a good thing or a bad thing in this video. I'm just showing you how to do it. So Besser is playing and in IR. And Johansson playing and active. So guess what? No value there. So that's Tuesday. Let me jump to Wednesday. And you've got neither of them playing. So an example of neither player playing, which I guess Sunday was like that as well. No Besser and no Johansson. So nothing, no benefit on Wednesday. Let's go to Thursday. And I think this will be our last day because Johansson is not playing. And check it out, Brock Besser is. So Johansson, you're going back into jail or back into IR. And Besser, you're coming out, buddy, because you're playing today. Again, ignore the warnings. So now you can see I've just cycled Brock Besser and Marcus Johansson for 4 or 5 days. And I think I got 2 extra games, or I guess really 1 extra game because you have 1 player. And now you're cycling 2 players through IR. So over the last, week, I was able to get 1 extra man game because again, you notice I didn't drop or add any players from the free agency or waiver wire. All I did is cycle Besser and Marcus Johansson through 1 slot. Now, none of this matters again until one of them comes off of IR status. And guess what? Eventually both probably will. And if I do this for the next 2 months or whatever, then I'm going to get 2 guys sharing 1 roster spot, one of my 17 roster spots on my team, both getting points when they have complementary schedules, neither getting points when they're not playing, and only one of them getting points like I normally would if they're both playing on the same day. So it's those complementary days when you get the benefit from IR cycling. That's how to do it. Stay tuned to the next video for my opinion on how on this league and whether we want it or not, and then our mitigation plan for handling that. Thank you for your time. Happy cycling, but don't do it. But do it. Stay tuned.